Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to a webinar hosted by JustLogin with a special guest match resources on skills-based hiring. It's 11 a.m. right now. I'm just going to wait for about 5 minutes time to get more people to stream into this particular webinar session. Also to note, this webinar is being recorded. So if you have any, if you want to drop out halfway and kind of like take a look at the recording after, it will be made available. It'll be emailed to everybody that registered for this event. All right. My name is Haris. I'm the head of marketing at JustLogin, and I will be moderating the Q&A session. I'll also be sharing a little bit more about JustLogin as well and introducing our speaker for today. At the end, there will be also a small little sharing session about one of JustLogin's products, as well as a feedback survey just to understand the relevance of today's webinar and if you've learned something from today's call. All right. So we'll start at 11:05. I will currently mute and turn off my camera and be with you at 11:05 a.m. And then we'll start with hopefully more people who registered for today's session. Thank you. All right. Good morning again, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this exclusive webinar organized by JustLogin and, of course, supported by Metro Sources. We have a lovely speaker that I'll be introducing to you later today. But what this webinar is all about is building skills-based talent strategies for SMEs. You'll be learning strategies to attract and, of course, keep top talent at your organizations. And this will definitely be helping you in terms of workforce planning for 2026. In fact, 2026 isn't that far away. We're only about 6 weeks left of the rest of the year. How time flies. And soon everybody's going to go on leave, for your Christmas breaks and all that. So happy holidays in advance. Right. So again, my name is Haris. I'm the head of marketing at JustLogin. And I just want to go through a few quick housekeeping reminders first. So what's going to happen is that for all of you here, you can actually use the Q&A box to, ask your questions. Of course, I would recommend you to introduce yourself as well, your name, which company you're from, and then include your question there. And I mentioned earlier also, we are recording today's webinar. So if you unfortunately have to drop halfway, the recording will be sent to everybody that registered for this event, right? And at the end, there will be a feedback survey just to understand the relevance of today's webinar and to see if you learned something new, you want to find out more about skills-based strategies moving forward. Okay. So just a little bit more about JustLogin first. So we've been around for actually 25 years. We started in the year 2000. And when we started, we were the world's first HR software as a service business back then. Again, there was a lot of HR softwares that were on-premise, but JustLogin started on the cloud all those years ago, and we've been on the cloud ever since, right? So that 25 years of cloud experience really, puts us as a pioneer and really experts in this field. We are also serving, companies from over 40 countries, so all over the world. And we have about more than 3,500 companies that we're serving right now. And of course, we also make sure that security is the forefront of what we do. So we also have the latest ISO 27001 certification updated, I think, for the year 2022 as well. So the companies that we serve are, across multiple industries, across, sizes as well. Of course, JustLogin is built for the SME, but we have companies that are 500, 1,000 employees that use us, or even 5 to 10 employees that use us as well. And this is just a quick snapshot of the companies that currently use us. All right, and of course, I would like to introduce our speaker, who will be the main person speaking to you today. She's, of course, very qualified to be presenting about skills-based recruitment. And Valerie Song, who's the founder and CEO of Match Resources, which is an HR consultancy established in the year 2008 with a mission to help organizations grow sustainably through people and technology. With over a decade of experience in human resources, Valerie specializes in aligning workforce strategies with long-term business and environmental goals. Valerie believes that sustainability goes beyond carbon and compliance. It's about creating workplaces that are inclusive, future-ready, and resilient. By integrating HR technology, skills-first frameworks, and green values, she helps organizations build systems where people thrive and businesses make a lasting positive impact. All right, Valerie, please take it away. Valerie, you're currently muted.
All
All right,
right.
okay.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Harris, for the kind introduction. And a very warm welcome to everyone joining us today, whether you're tuning in from office, home, or on the go. Thanks for joining us, and I really appreciate your time. Now, today's webinar is about sharing insights of how organization can navigate the evolving landscape of HR, talent, and digital transformation, right? With the business facing new challenges in workforce planning, compliance, operational efficiency, it is important to equip ourselves with the right tools and strategies. Now, this webinar also aims to provide practical, real-world perspective, including some, I would say, live cases that you can bring back to your team and apply immediately for your HR planning and decision making. Okay, let's get started. Okay, now why is Singapore moving to a skill-based economy, right? There's a lot of buzz around being skill-based, and it's no surprise that this shift aligns closely with our nation focus on digitalization and workforce transformation. Okay, so we seeing strong evidence by 2023, right? More than 50% of all jobs in Singapore will change due to automation and new technologies, right? With with digitalization moving so quickly, our workforce must continuously learn, adapt, and pick up the new skills to stay relevant. And this we've been hearing a lot from the mainstream, right? And we are also seeing a strong push for workforce mobility, meaning some roles will need to move out of sunset industry, for example, traditional manufacturing companies transitioning into fast-growing sectors, right? I'm sure many of us also seeing like demands in areas like artificial intelligence, green tech, sustainability, as well as digital services. That's where the skills need to be transferable and constantly upskill. Now, I also wanted to highlight that this skill gap is real. We're hearing employers from time to time struggling to find people with the right capabilities, and even though on the resume they look good, right? So later on, I'm going to share a simple skill-based framework that can help you to hire for potential and adaptability, and not just credential. Okay, let's pause for a quick recap. This is a CNA report showed that many companies still struggling to adopt new initiatives, including sustainability efforts, because of skill gaps.
Fewer firms adopted sustainability measures in the past 2 years compared to 2022, citing a gap in expertise and skills needed. The report by fewer firms adopted.
Sorry. Apologies, let me try this again.
Fewer firms adopted sustainability measures in the past 2 years compared to 2022, citing a gap in expertise and skills needed. The report by NTUC Learning Hub found that a third of employees lacked confidence in their firm's abilities to effectively implement sustainability initiatives. Risha Matthew reports.
Here at Concord Hotel, installing this filtered water tap in rooms has completely eliminated single-use plastic water bottles and saved them some $36,000 annually.
To give you some idea of what that equates to, each year we used approximately 250,000 500ml bottles. So that's gone. So that's a huge difference in the carbon footprint. So we've gone along those lines as well, and they've been well received by guests, because I think people now really are getting the message about plastic.
Now, as the hotel looks to implement more of such sustainable measures, it wants to bridge the gap in expertise and skill sets required.
Sustainability is very broad, but our staff now has a bit more than basic knowledge because of our trainings and our awareness. But there's much more to learn. So we need to go for more trainings and learnings. So the staff needs more exposure.
More than 4 in 5 business leaders surveyed by NTUC Learning Hub say they face a similar challenge, and that's why the institution is focusing on providing more sustainability training.
We actually equip the participants with this thing called foundation tools, or even guidelines or guidance, so that they can actually construct a very solid sustainability strategy moving forward. Arm them with the ability to translate maybe complex sustainable data into a very clear, actionable reports that we show them how to work around it, and then align that in the legal requirements that is compliance and also within organization goals.
Beyond training, companies should also update their systems to track and measure their sustainability outcomes.
With this information, the company can then.
Okay, so those is to highlight why a skill-based approach is increasingly important. Now, it's not just Singapore, the global workforce is shifting fast. So according to this McKinsey report, that is about 60% of occupation worldwide, at least third of tasks could be automated. And on the right, there's this simple IBM data. Our report also shows steady growth in AI adoption across workplace globally. And of course, clearly, the automation and AI are no longer niche, right? They are becoming mainstream, as I said, across industry. And having said that, some tasks gets automated, but also new roles also emerge, right? So this means companies, especially our HR leaders here today with us, need to rethink roles, job redesign, hiring criteria, and also skill mapping, and adapt a framework that can focus on skills, adaptability, human and machine collaborations rather than the traditional job descriptions. Okay, some examples of companies automating jobs via artificial intelligence, AI for short. In fact, last night I came across some articles about, which is not on this slide, right? That McDonald's is testing AIs for drive-through ordering. Also, I think one article about PwC at Essential using AI to handle routine audit and HR tasks, right? It's not on my slide at this point of time. So what I'm trying to say is that AI is already reshaping jobs today and not in the future. Okay, so with so many roles changing because of automation and AI, so I mentioned companies need to rethink how we approach talent. So I mentioned earlier that I'm going to show you guys a very simple skill-based talent strategy approach that can perhaps help us to respond to this shift, and how HR technology can support this career path roadmap for our people. Okay, so this is the 4 practical steps in order to close the skill gaps. So to help you to visualize how we go about doing this, 4 steps, we break it down into 4 simple steps. Okay, the first is to identify, right, the critical emerging skills in your industry. So meaning, especially looking at roles that potentially you need to automate certain tasks, especially when AI continue to reshape these roles, right? And the second one is map the skills to your workforce already has, right? This gives you a clear view of the strength and where the gaps are. The third one is integrate skills into your hiring and performance review. Like for example, when assessing your candidates based on what they do and not the job title or the years of experience. Okay. The last one is align your training to those skill gaps, and then you track the progress so that the employees' development become focused, measurable, and tied directly to your business needs. Okay, so earlier I mentioned the first one is to identify critical future-ready skills. Now, I want to give you an example, right? Years before COVID, during one of my consulting engagement with a long-term client for executive search task, right? I experienced this shift firsthand. What used to be a straightforward hiring process for engineering role, that's something we could easily fill in within a month, but that role became completely different, right? So I mentioned that the AI is reshaping roles. So this role that I was working on, that happened, right? A new role emerged. So again, because of the automation and AI, and as well as my client moving into new products and markets, the requirement of the role had somewhat changed. So while we were looking for the candidates for, say, 5 to 8 years of traditional engineering experience, my client said that, hey, look, we need robotic capabilities. We need candidates with strong AI knowledge, so on and so forth, right? So what I'm trying to say is that the role didn't just evolve, it kind of transform, right? So exactly why the skill-based approach is becoming so essential today. All right. So this chart is actually I took from Bosch, right? They obviously, you know, they're in the manufacturing industry, and then they applied this platform industry of 4.0 across their operation by connecting data from, you know, the manufacturing, the logistics, and then to build a smart factory, right? And then the result, of course, stunning 25% increase in productivity and up to about 30% reduction in inventory. So what again, it shows the right technology combined with the right skills can completely transform the performance. Okay. Now the second pillar, for example, customer service experience specialist, right? We look at someone in who is in a role in your company versus future ready, which is a future ready version of your traditional CXO, customer service officer, right? So here, what I'm trying to illustrate is that the focus is again on skills, not the job titles, right? So if I go through the chart, if you can see Lee here, right? He's a call center agent, right? He has excellent empathy, communication skills, right? And these are his what we call current skills, right? And with the upscaling in perhaps CRM, okay, and the basic data literacy, he can then progress into senior customer experience lead, for example, right? So for again, for the HR leaders here with me today, when you met skills instead of, you know, the job titles, you know, you actually realize that your people already have what's needed, right? So meaning for hiring manager, you don't always need to hire new staff, right? You can then retrain and redeploy them, while at the same time saving your operating expenses and boosting employees morale. Okay, so I'm just gonna chime in a bit about JustLogin Justina that I use in this little one at the bottom of my page. We actually use the AI chatbot to extract employees' real data for quick skill mapping. So customer of JustLogin, you can actually explore using the chatbot to extract all these employees' real data when you want to try out this mapping of your workforce skills. Okay, so to summarize, the what I call customer experience specialist still needs you know, the soft skills, which is a customer communication, problem solving, but the new skill are now required would be like the understanding of using a CRM system, data literacy to be able to read customer trends, and of course handling digital channels such as chatbot. Okay, right. Now, how do we integrate the skills into hiring? Again, with this help of these two charts, the third pillar focus on hiring, right? So earlier we talked about upskilling existing employees to close the skill gaps, but sometimes you need to hire for the skills you don't have in the company, right? So in the recruitment process, once you identify the skills required, the hiring manager should just switch to the skill-based job description. So, for example, when you are seeking in an advertisement that you mentioned, you have to be looking for 3 years business intelligence experience. You actually need to specify the skills you are looking for, not just 3 years of BI experience, right? You need to mention things like data visualization or dashboarding in this case, okay? This is to avoid filtering candidates by titles and, you know, experience and focus on the capability. All right. So, and during the selection, hiring managers should also apply skills assessment test. Okay. Now, further to integrating skills into hiring and including performance review, let me just connect what's happening here in Singapore, right? So if you look at this chart, you notice that from 2025 onwards, companies actually, especially the listed and the large non-listed ones will be required to report their carbon emission, including scope 3. So they also need external assurance as well, right? So what really signal is a major shift, right? It means companies will urgently need people who understand sustainability, carbon reporting, and environmental data, right? Being able to read this data. So these skills are not traditionally part of most of the existing job roles, right? So this chart on the right, the green economy, shows exactly that, right? So these are the top skills in demand, right? The green energy, in the green energy sector, carbon footprint, management, sustainability management, so on and so forth, right? So when we talk about skill-based hiring and integrating the skills into performance review, this is what it looks like in the real world, right? And remember, roles are changing. So we need to change the job description, and companies need people with the right capabilities to meet these new standards. Okay, so why building a skill-ready workforce is urgent. Okay, measuring progress, right? The key metrics I would use is reskilling rate, redeployment, learning ROIs, retention improvement, right? So, and if we invest in reskilling, upskilling, redeployment of our people, how do we actually measure performance or rather improvement? Okay, so let me take you quickly with the first one, which is the rescaling rate. So it's to measure how effectively employees are building new capabilities in tech or production solutions. So applying simple math, you just use the reskill employees over total employees, multiply by 100, get a percentage. And then for this, data that you need, I'll go on to the next slide, is to extract it from your existing HRIS system, or even if you have a LMS, learning management portal, right? Redeployment rate is actually the measure of the talent mobility after new skills are acquired. Again, how we track is also simple math. We just use the redeploy after training over reskills and the percentage that you can get, right? The third one would be the measuring return on investment. That is to determine your business return from learning investment. Say, for example, HR software company, someone had to go for a product certification course, and a training cost cost about 20,000, and perhaps that led to 80K increase in upsell or a whopping 200% ROI. So this is what we measure. You can also use the same set of data to measure the productivity improvement in terms of like the support time and also the revenue growth after upscaling. Now, the last one is retention improvement. So at this end of the framework, you can actually link the learning opportunities with engagement and to track the attrition rate. So easy formula will be turnover untrained less turnover trained over turnover untrained, and you get the percentage. Okay. So again, to summarize this, I mentioned earlier, we track the indicators like upskilling progress, redeployment outcomes, learning impact, and of course, employees retention. So this dashboard, gives the HR leaders here today and the business a clear view of whether your skill-based strategy is truly driving outcomes. So earlier I mentioned, remember to use the right HR tech tool to measure your ROI, and also to let you extract the real employees data so that you can use this for your skill-based strategy framework. All right. So the source here you use, I mentioned LMS, HR system, even looking at your org chart, and also perhaps looking at your financial numbers and your operation KPIs as the source of the data. Okay, so companies who benefited from first hiring or first-based hiring, let's pause again to have a look at this video. Let me see if I could do this. Okay, yes.
Join our digital
Frankly, were you skeptical about skills-based hiring when you first heard about it?
Yes, we had reservations initially, as this goes beyond our standard hiring based on qualifications. But the social media platform ran a skills-based hiring campaign, and we made some successful tech hires through that.
But can skills-based hiring actually boost your efficiency and productivity?
When skills are the primary consideration in hiring, we can match the individual's unique strength and potential with available jobs. This ensures better job fit and improves the overall career experience.
And have you found any talents from skills-based hiring?
Yes, we have an employee who graduated with a diploma in information technology. He then joined our digital academy as a cloud engineer. After completing his on-the-job training, he's now deployed in our cloud team, supporting software infrastructure.
My advice for companies who are considering skills-based hiring is keep an open mind and don't give up.
Beyond broadening the talent pool, our team members have actively cultivated a mindset of continuous growth and self-improvement.
To attract the best tech talent, ST Engineering remains steadfast in our pledge to champion skills-based hiring. This not only shapes a dynamic and resilient workforce, but also accelerate the career and academic aspirations of individuals.
Skills-based hiring has been transformational for us because it allows us to unlock the full potential of our employees and to create a thriving workforce. It has also strengthened our position as a talent creator.
Okay, we have reached the end of our webinar, and I like to leave a few takeaways for the attendees here with us today in this skill-based era. So to champion skill-based transition, HR leaders must shift from administrator to true strategist, because you are now the driver of the workforce transformation, and the HR role is no longer just operational, right? And also we need to lead continuous learning, partner closely with L&D, the business leader, leverage technology to align skill-based strategies with business need. So as we step into this strategic role, we don't just actually support the business, we actually help to shape its future. So thank you very much for your time. I will leave the next few minutes for any Q&A.
Thank you, Valerie. Yes, you can actually use the Q&A box to ask any questions you have. Again, please introduce yourself, your name and your company, and then your question as well. In fact, actually, Valerie, we can do another Q&A section right after my short little sharing, and then we can address both questions at the same time the questions shared for you, and then maybe perhaps some questions shared for me as well. All right. So what I'll do, Valerie, is okay if I will take over, and then I will then continue on. It's not the end yet. We still have just about 10 minutes more. JustLogin wants to share a little bit more about, if you are already using skills-based hiring, we have a tool that will definitely help you out with that, right? So let me just reshare my slides. One moment. Okay, and yes, so again, if you have any questions for Valerie, please put them into the Q&A box. Feel free to ask your questions. Again, she's an expert in skills-based hiring and kind of like making sure you know exactly who to look for, to fill up roles, especially for next year. Again, redeployment strategies and just overall understanding of your workforce is, very important. And again, Valerie is definitely an expert who's been doing this for the past 17 years. Now, for JustLogin, we've been around for a long time, but this is something that is slightly newer and that we launched just about 2.5 years ago now, and that is our AI recruitment module, right? So a little bit of a sharing about AI recruitment module, just some key overview of the functionalities and the benefits and features of what we have. Right, so you can think of our AI recruitment module as a upgraded version of an applicant tracking system, now powered with AI functionalities. You can see AI being repeated multiple times on this slide, but it actually is quite helpful, and it really does help, filter and sift through really top talent that is, trying to work for your company. Right, so what we have is actually an AI candidate ranking. So as you receive the resumes, it will read the resume. That's actually just below that, the automated resume parsing. So it reads resumes and extracts, that key information, gives you a summary, right? Extract the skills that are listed in that resume, and it gives a ranking and a score, right? I'm sure if you're trying to hire for a salesperson, a software engineer, you get hundreds of applicants, honestly, within days. And it's going to be too hard to really look and download every single resume, right? So our AI actually reads that for you and then gives a score out of 10 based on the skills that you put, when creating the job description, right, or the job post. It then reads the resume, and then if there is a skill match, that gives a higher score. So you can look at a score out of 10, and if you only want to focus on 8, 9, and 10 out of 10, everybody below that, too bad, try again next time, no problem. This is actually available for you, right, if you use our AI recruitment. And then what you can do is that you can also do a A versus B kind of a comparison, right? In fact, with Justina, which is our AI chatbot, you can actually then, within the recruitment module app, just ask questions. I have, candidate A versus candidate B. I'm trying to understand who can do, maybe a customer success role more effectively. This is the skill that's required. Can you tell me, which of these two candidates would be a more suitable, candidate for this role or this particular skill? And then Justina can give you an answer based on the information already collected, right? And let's say you have already decided, okay, I want to interview candidate A. What to ask, right? Justina can also generate the AI, the interview questions using AI for you. And again, this is tailored to that role. So you won't get generic questions. If you're hiring somebody in sales, you get very sales-based or sales-related questions that you can ask to really know if this is a good salesperson, versus if you're trying to hire somebody in IT, you get very specific IT-related questions for that particular role. So you don't actually have to think so much anymore. This will help you definitely speeden up that process to get you more prepared for that interview, right? And of course, we give you tons of reports and comprehensive audits to really understand this entire hiring journey for each role that you actually have, right? So I have a quick little some screenshots over here. So let's say, for example, somebody actually submits their resume. This is the description that we capture. So this will give you that summary. So this is Laila or Leela, just a sample of a resume over here. So they give you this description, right? Again, it's a summary based on what already we are learning from the resume that they've submitted. This is the interview question. So you just click generate with AI, you get 10. If you want to regenerate, just click again, you get another 10, Right? So this is again available for you. And then this is just to show you the AI ranking. So as you can see, I have Peter, Zachary, all these people, and they are given a score, right? And then now Peter's at the top with a score of 6 out of 10. But you want better? Hopefully, more candidates will come in, and then you'll get a 7, an 8, a 9, or a 10 out of 10 candidate, right? And then next, you can see on the right-hand side is a summary, again, side by side. And on the left-hand side, we were just talking about it, skills-based hiring, right? These are the skills that we have parsed and extracted from the resume to give you really, okay, not just, that this person has been in this role or this title for the last 5 years, but this is the exact skills that they have listed down, and that summary can give you an explanation of their capability of performing those skills, right? And yeah, so that's a little quick sharing about JustLogin's AI recruitment module. I know some of you are existing JustLogin customers. If this is your first time seeing it, if you want to find out more about it, you can, of course, reach out to your customer success manager. You can ask us a question over here. There's also going to be a survey right after this as well that you can fill up. And then if you're interested for us to reach out to you, you can actually include your information there for us to reach out to you. All right. So I will open Q&A for the next 4 minutes till about 11:45. If anybody has any questions, please, again, use the Q&A chat box to put in your questions. Otherwise, if you can help us out, if you thought today's webinar is helpful or not helpful, please fill in the survey, provide your your insight and your thoughts. It's fairly quick. It's only a handful of questions, very fast, won't take more than about 2 minutes of your time. This will definitely give us more ideas in terms of making more relevant webinars for all the HR leaders, business owners that are currently with us today. All right, so again, we're open for Q&A for the next 4 minutes, and at the same time, I'll just leave the survey questions, the survey form here as well for you to scan your QR code and then answer a quick little survey for us. Okay. One last thing. Also, if you want to reach out and connect with Valerie, you can. This is just another QR code to her LinkedIn. You can also email her at valeriesong@matchresources.co or go to her website at matchresources.co. Right, so you can reach out to Valerie. And I'll leave this up for about 30 seconds. And again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to use the Q&A chat box. Valerie is somebody that has a lot of experience. They can help you out if you are wondering about how to maybe transition or convince maybe even leadership on, hey, we shouldn't just look at merit, we shouldn't just look at title and X amount of years, but we should actually do some kind of a skills assessment. These are questions that you can ask her as well. Okay, if that's not it, I mean, if that's all, there's no questions coming in, no problem. Again, this entire webinar is recorded. We'll send it over to you, to everybody that registered. So you can always watch it again and try to digest all the information that Valerie has shared. Again, I want to give a big thank you to Valerie Song, founder and CEO of Match Resources, to share her time and really provide her expertise to all of us for today's webinar. All right, thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Valerie. I really appreciate it so much. Yes, and thank you, everybody. Appreciate the time. Again, on this midweek near the end of the year, happy holidays coming up, right? I know there's a lot of things that HR needs to do to close the books. JustLogin also has a lot of workshops coming up, the leave balance transfer, CPF, planning for next year. All these things are other things that we're currently doing at the end of the year as well. So if you want to find out more about all the different activities that we have, you can also reach out to any one of us in the JustLogin team. All right. Otherwise, thank you so much. We hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.